So welcome folks to the GRE Free Prep Hour. I'm going to pop on the video for just a second. The video is actually rather choppy on your behalf, so I don't stay on the video very long, but I would like to wave and say hello in the choppy video. My name's Neil. I've been teaching GRE since I think 1993 or 4 is when I started teaching GRE. So I've been at this for a long time. It's my favorite thing to do in the world is to help people get better at this particular test. So I'm glad you're all here. I teach regular classes, also occasional private tutoring. But one of my favorite things to do is this free prep hour. So here we are. So hello, that's me on the video. I'm going to hop off the video here because it just takes up a lot of bandwidth on your part. So other than that, the other player here today is Sanjay is here from tech support. So welcome, Sanjay. If you if I ever hear sound like a chipmunk, or if there's an audio delay, if you can't hear. Sanjay, if you could do me a favor and type in the instructions for resetting audio speed, that would help me out a lot as well. So I noticed for a moment there, I think Shannon, my audio cut out there for a second and I might be catching up. If you're having internet delay issues, there's a way to reset your speed to something a little bit more, less bandwidth. So Sanjay's at work and he's going to type that in for you. But otherwise, welcome. Follow along. There's always a recording. We'll post this to YouTube a little bit later. So because this is going out, I need for you to participate today and to play. So all you need today is paper and a scratch paper. You don't need any supplies at all, but a pen and a scratch paper will help out dramatically. Another thing you might want to use a little bit later today to help yourself out and to help out your fellow classmates is an online dictionary. We can use, let's see, what are some of the online dictionaries we can use? We can just simply go to dictionary.com, not Doctionary, excuse me. You can just have a Google search window open. All you need to do is type in the word, and usually that will give you, Merriam-Webster.com is another one as well. But Merriam-Webster dictionary. So that's something we will need later, not while you're doing the questions. But have another window open so that you can pop over and maybe go look up some words. So there we go. So that's our supplies we need today. So what are we up to? Our agenda for the day is we're going to do a deep dive on the sentence equivalence, a peculiar kind of questions. I want to show you tools for getting through sentence equivalence, ways of making sentence equivalence easier, and also some ways in which you can take and practice, ways in which you can improve your sentence equivalence just by taking some time, opening up the right book and doing the thing. So most of our material today is going to come out of the Manhattan Prep Guide for the GRE. This is called the 5-Pound Book. It is available online. It is a big old bestseller, and it is a monster book. There are literally hundreds of sentence equivalence questions in this book for you. I'm going to pop on the video and show you how thick it is. If you don't have this book, I highly recommend it. So we're going to go some questions out of this book, and we're going to talk a little bit about how to use this book. Another book that I highly recommend for your prep study, for your prep time, is actually doing the official guide, Real GRE Questions Written by the Real People. So anything you can do out of here is also amazing for you. So that's what we're up to today. That's what we're working out of today. So let's pop up and talk about two different kinds of questions and how to spot the difference between them. This is not what we are doing today. Oops, sorry. This is not what we're up to today. This is called a text completion. How many answer choices are here? Just count them up. Dumb question. How many answer choices do you see? All right, 5. What we need to do is learn to recognize that when there's only 5 answer choices and they're blocked out like this, that each one is kind of in its own brick here, and your job on the computer is to click in the brick as to which one you like the best. How many right answers are there in this one? Okay, so there's only one answer to this. Okay. I'm not going to tell you what that answer is because we're going to do another kind of question today. But what we need to do is recognize and be able to shift gears to, all right, 5 answers look like this. I'm only looking for 1, to how many answers do you see here? Ah, there's 6. So there's like 1 extra, which means you have 1 extra to do. Also, notice the format of the answer choice is a little bit different. There's little blocks to the side here. And so when I see problems that look like this, it will say very clearly right about here, choose the best 2 answers. It's really easy to ignore that. We just need to keep in mind that we need to select our 2 answers. And if you only pick 1, there's no partial credit. So you got to get 2 in there. If you pick 1, it's like leaving it blank. So you might as well get there and pick 2. Okay. So let's start rocking through some things we want to do, some strategy, some things we want to do, some strategy for working these. And then we'll get into some of the fine tuning and some of the fun stuff of this. All right. So here we go. We have right here a sentence. And we have some answers here. What makes the most logical, common sense thing to do first? What would you do first when this appears on the screen? Common sense, super basic logic, what would 99% of people do? Yeah, all right. So, well, Dave, I can't eliminate wrong answers. That's going to be the last thing I do, Dave. Making an answer prediction, that's going to be like the 3rd or 4th thing I do. All right, so there's this. Before I can cross off answers, before I can make a prediction, I have to RTFS. Okay, so this stands for read the full sentence. Yeah, that's what the F stands for. Read the sentence. Okay. Now, if it helps you, what I highly recommend you do is to get these answers covered somehow. So what I do, I'm going to pop on the video again and say hello. What you will actually see me doing on test day, I promise you, if you take a test next to me, what you will see me doing on test day is you will see me with my hand to the screen. I cannot look at those answers until I've read the freaking sentence. All right, so cover up those answers, get them covered. I'm not going to let you look at them at all, and we're just going to go from there. All right, so we're going to read the sentence. So read the sentence to yourself. Okay, all right, so after a long, hard practice in the summer sun, the players were visibly blank. All right, so notice when you read this sentence, hopefully you saw something in your mind's eye. Hopefully you visualized something. You saw a little mini moving in your head. What did you see? What's in your little mini movie? Yeah, fatigued players. What? Okay, so what sport were they playing in your brain? Baseball? That's funny. I'm by the way in New Zealand. I've been out of the country way too long. In my brain, they're all playing soccer. Which they call football here. So for whatever reason in my brain, they're all playing soccer. But some of you are playing, basketball outside. Some are playing baseball outside. Whatever it is, what do they look like? Zoom in on one of the players. What do they look like? Yeah, they're tired and sweaty. They're tired and hot and sweaty. All right, cool. So what you've done is you have genuinely read the full sentence. And I'm not being glib about this. Like, if you don't actually picture sweaty baseball players or sweaty soccer players, you're not reading. We need to get a little mini movie playing. So if after you read a sentence and you start focusing in on the words of the sentence and you haven't visualized what's actually happening here, you haven't read it. Go back, read it, really read it. Okay. So take a deep breath and be patient with yourself on this process. So there we go. So you're reading the sentence, and so we see a bunch of soccer players. And so in your mind's eye, you've already done step 2, and we're going to do a little bit more with step 2, but ultimately the goal of step 2 is to fill in the blank with your own word. So what visually did you already fill in the blank with? You already look up on the thing. You've already kind of filled in the blank already. What have you got? All right, exhausted, simply, tired. All right, so on your scratch paper, here's what I want you to do. So this is your scratch paper. I want you to write on your scratch paper, tired, exhausted, fatigued. And by the way, tired works. Notice how you're getting, those of you getting into fatigued and exhausted are trying to guess the answer in advance, and that's not what I want you to do. All right. I don't want you to guess the answer. I want you to fill in the answer, and there's a difference. I want you to keep your fill-in as easy for you as possible. So don't try to outwit the test. I want you to just be tired, sweaty. If it's a swear word, great. If it's a word in whatever your native language is, great. If it's in Arabic or French, or if you know a better word in Spanish, wonderful. Whatever word that happens to be. If it's a slang term or a neologism like woke or work or that outfit was totally turned, whatever it happens to be, or she is totally snatched, whatever, great, use that, fill it in. All right. You've got to fill in anything that works for you, not necessarily trying to guess some fancy word here. All right, cool. So they're tired and exhausted, and you also gave me sweaty, and I like sweaty, like, and just visually fill it in. All right. Other things I want to do on my scratch paper are A, B, C, D, E, F, and these are just, by the way, when I teach longer term, always, no matter what, I want any question that pops up, I just want my right hand doing some scratch paper work as you're reading the question. So here we go. All right, so we got 5 answers, A through F, A, B, C, D, F. So we're all set up, and we got tired, exhausted, sweaty. What we're also going to do as we get further into our deep dive is we're going to use clues. By the way, how did you know that they were exhausted and tired and sweaty? Yeah, all right, so it's a long, hard practice, summer sun. So it's a very, very clear clue. All right, so not always clear. We're going to get some more tools for analyzing the clue here. Yeah, all right, so there we go. So we've filled in the blank and we're ready to go. So let's take a look at number 3 here. Sanjay, if you're still hanging around, maybe a private message to, I think it's Haley, who might be having some internet issues. But anyway, there we go. She seems to be caught up, but cool. Or maybe cut and paste your resending the connection message. All right, so step 3. Step 3, here we go. We are going to PO it out. All right, what does PO stand for? It's the primary tool in process of elimination. Oh, shoot. I already told you. It's the primary tool in L standardized testing. So what does POE stand for, everybody? Yeah, all right. You can't do it unless you've got this on your scratch paper. So you've got to have this on your scratch paper to do your POE. It is a vital tool. I was practicing for the GRE the last time I took it. I take it every couple of years. And I kept like banging out like high scores, but not great scores. Like it was not exactly where I wanted to be. And I realized it was because I was doing verbal by slouching and clicking. Like I wasn't really doing anything active. I was just kind of clicking on things and then click on the next thing. Like the only thing moving was my mouse hand, and it was all happening in my brain. As soon as I sat up and made a vow to get connected to my scratch paper, I sat up, made a vow, did my scratch paper in every question. I gained like 4 points, kind of overnight. So getting that scratch paper thing, I promise you it's great. All right, so let's rock out some POE here and see what we got. And for you all, I want you to answer one of 2 ways. Give me a yes, give me a no. give me a maybe, give me a question mark if you have no idea what the word means. You can also go a tilde or a weak, whatever you want to give me, that's fine. So process of elimination doesn't have to be clear, commit or don't commit. It can be a, I don't know, or that's kind of shitty or kind of weak. Could flagging mean exhausted or tired? Yes, no, maybe. And give me your vote here. Yeah, all right, so we'll put a yes next to that one. So we found one. Yes, maybe. All right, cool. So yes and maybe to those. All right, cool. So yes, maybe, we'll leave that one in. Could hail mean that? And be honest with your question marks. I love when a boatload of question marks pop up. So we got, not that question mark. All right, cool. No, that is maybe. All right, cool. Listen. Let's just put a question mark next to that one. All right. All right, loathsome. Yeah, it seems a pretty solid no. All right, pretty little too negative. Vigorous. Okay, that's a no. Enervated. Yeah, all right, cool. So we have to pick how many answers? All right, we got to pick two. Right now, without over worrying about it, which two seem pretty solid to you? All right, flagging and enervated. All right. So I'm going to, on my scratch paper, commit to those, but I'm not going to commit 100% yet. I'm going to go straight out flagging and enervated. So listen, I don't care. It doesn't matter, right? Hail doesn't really matter. Loathsome doesn't really. So vigorous and loathsome, definitely not. These two, not really sure what they mean, but flagging and enervated, yeah, I'm going to take those. Okay. So this gives you kind of a, we're playing the odds here of most likely to be right, not necessarily that we have to be 100% confident on every word, because we're not ever going to be 100% confident in every word. We got to pick something, so let's go for it. But I do want to confirm, all right, and what I mean by confirming the evidence is I want to confirm against the clue and the other answer. All right. Remember, this is sentence equivalence. And what I mean by equivalence is, do these kind of match each other? If you're flagging, are you enervated? If you're enervated, are you flagging? What do you think? Do they match each other? They don't have to be exact synonyms, but are they close enough? Yeah, yes or no idea, right? Yes, maybe. All right, cool. My energy is flagging. My energy is enervated. My life is fine. All right, cool. So I'll go with those two, maybe. All right. Also, do they match your clue? All right. Do they match your fill-in? All right. They both mean tired. So what we're looking at, and then also, right? Could you be really also verify against the clue? Right, so if you maybe thought loathsome, because maybe they were really mean and ugly and crappy, but does loathsome match long, hard practice in the summer sun? No. Players are visibly vigorous. They could have been, but does that match the clue? No. So we're verifying against the clue. I want you to think of this confirm as, number one, an exceedingly important point, but think of it as kind of a matrix. The sentence gives you a clue. Answer choice A gives you a word. Answer choice F gives you a word, and you came up with your own fill-in. And we want to make sure that this forms a relatively tight network, that everything matches each other, that what you put in matches the clue, that the answer's choice match each other, and they both match each other. So how do we feel about A and F? Like, give me a confidence level of 1 to 10. Okay, maybe. All right, so fine, right? Some of you might be 2, some of you might be whatever. We're all at different vocab levels. This is a zero judgment space. So here we go. That is doing the sentence correct. And what would you do at this point? As soon as I got A and F, as soon as I confirmed them against each other, I would move on. Done. I'm done. I got to move on, whether I'm sure or not, whatever level of confidence I'm at. If I'm at a 2-level confidence, I might on test day mark that one to come back, like, oof, I'm not really sure, let me come back to that one. Great, I can mark it. If I'm 6 or above on confidence, I'm moving on, I'm never looking at it again, I'm cool. Even if I'm 4 or above on confidence, I'm out, I don't care. All right, so here we go. That's test day. You doing homework, what more could we learn from doing this question? Without even looking at the answers, what could I do on my own to make this a little bit better? To learn something from this question. Yeah, all right. So before I check up my answers, I want to go, and before I check my answers, and this is really hard to get yourself to do, what I want to do is another layer of confirmation to say, all right, let's go look up some answers. So let's do this. Whatever dictionary, online dictionary you use, again, just pop it into a Google window, we're cool. Alex, through Guadalupe, why don't you look up flagging? Haley's, Jennifer's and Catherine's and Laura's, why don't you look up hail? Maggie and Max and Megan's, all the M names, if you'll look up listen. And all the N and beyond, Nandy, Sabrina, and whatnot, if you look up enervated for me. So we're going to work together. So beginning of the alphabet, flagging, hail, listen, enervated. All right, cool. So what do we got? What do we got? Healthy, fit, strong, great, graceful. All right. Cool, enervated, tear down. Flagging is kind of funny. We want to find the definition that fits this particular one because it's like the tertiary or the 3rd or 4th definition of flagging here. So everybody go look up flagging and find the, yeah, without vigor, force, or strength. Okay, all right. So without strength, weak. All right, cool. All right, so here we go. Now that we've looked up these words, how do we feel about our answers? Now how confident are we? Give me a 1 to 10 scale. All right, cool. So brilliant. Okay. What are the words you would love to make flashcards out of now? Personally, what are the ones that you think? All right, so hail and listen. All right, New Yorkers, where do you see hail every day walking down Columbia? Yeah, hail and hearty soups. Yeah, all throughout New York City are all these fast food restaurants that serve soups called hail and hearty soups, which is so yeah. There's, I don't know if they're anywhere else in the world, but hail and hearty soups is all there. So if you want to help that make a mnemonic device of like, imagine yourself walking into, imagine yourself walking into a soup store, coming out and feeling very strong, and you look like a bodybuilder because you're healthy, fit, and strong because you ate their really fat and salty soup, but whatever. All right, so what about one more thing I want to do now? So we're still confident, we still haven't checked our answers. So we made flashcards out of hail and listen and maybe enervated and flagging. That's cool. So maybe one of those as well. Which one is probably going to be the hardest for you to remember? All right, listen. Okay. So we need to do some extra work with listen. So we need to take some moment and make maybe right now, take a moment and make a mnemonic device. And what I mean by a mnemonic device is between the word and its definition, let's put this over here, between the word and its definition, I'm going to take the time right now and make it the first time. What I want is an image created by this word and somehow that image linking to the definition. So let's actually do this. for a second. I'm going to cover up all this. And when I see the word listen, what does it sound like to you that has maybe nothing to do with the definition? When you saw it, that word reminded you of what? And these are always funny. These are always weird. Lipsome, Franz Liszt, glistening. These are so cool. I love these. All right, lipsome, Franz Liszt, lethargic, a lift. All right, cool. An elevator lift. These crack me up, and these are so awesome. All right, cool. Now let's link to this definition. Who should ideally be really graceful? A ballerina. All right. So the first thing that came up was Michelle said lipsome. All right. So what I want to do is I want this lipsome to create an image of some really full-on, overly painted, completely exaggerated silicone-injected lips. And then we're going to pull out, and those lips are attached now to an exceedingly graceful ballerina dancer. All right, so what I've done is that this reminded me of some overly injected lips, and that created an image. And I'm going to take that image and I'm going to link to a super graceful dancer. Or if I wanted to take Franz Liszt, Alex, I would take whatever Franz Liszt looks like to you, and I would take that and make that an image. Therefore, whatever Franz Liszt looks like to you, and make Franz Liszt, put Liszt in a tutu and pointer and tutu and point shoes, put Liszt on his toes, and therefore go from there. Or a dancer in a lift, or a dancer glistening with sweat. Whatever your first image is, take that and work to link that to your definition. All right, smiley faces if that makes sense to you. What does the word sound like? Right. All right, so I always have, since the beginning of this, what I see is a flag on a flagpole from my old elementary school, and I picture that flag like drooping in the sun now. Right, that flag is going, ugh, and it's exhausted and it's tired, and it falls off the flagpole because it's so tired. So we're just taking some goofy image and linking that to our definition. So there we go. So I'm going to give you a minute or two on this one for you to check this one out. So I'm going to turn off the mic for a minute. I'm just going to give you, I don't know, like a minute 10 on this. And you will play with this one. Don't give away the answer to your fellow students. Just do it on your scratch paper. Don't look at the words yet. We'll do that a little bit later. And we'll see what we get. All right, so minute 10. Don't give away the answer to your classmates. Just do it on your scratch paper. Don't look up the words. But pick two of these that you like, and you're going to have to guess, just to let you know. So you may begin. I'll turn off the mic for a second. Go, go, go. Okay, now here's what you have to do right now, and this is going to suck because you're still thinking and you're not sure and there's words you don't know, but you need to tell me A, B, C, D, and F, and we'll just match these, A, B, C, D, E, F. Give me the two you like now. Everybody vote. Everybody vote. All right, wonderful. That is one of the major keys to getting a higher score on the GRE is just, I don't know, spirit, commit to it. Go. Pick two, any two. Notice we are all over the place, all right? We got to just go. You got to run, all right? So there we go. So let's go back through the process. Now, first of all, check this. Is this on your scratch paper? You don't have to answer that, but is this on your screen? You can. All right, very good if it is. That's part of the game. Get in the habit of that. This should be just sort of secondary nature. If you just kind of did it in the air, you can improve your score just by having this on your scratch paper. I promise you. All right, all right. So let's, what's the first step? What's step one? Yeah, read the full sentence. All right, read the sentence. Okay, so with with almost 40 titles to her name, the popular novelist has a blank imagination and is never at a loss for new ideas. All right, well, the quality of her work is far from consistent. Okay, so what are some of our clues? So notice this word is describing her imagination, and we're going to actually call this thing right here, this is kind of a target. This is not the clue, but what is this blank describing? What else describes her imagination? How do we know what kind of imagination she has? All right, two things, right? She's written a boatload of books, all right, and never at a loss for new ideas. All right, cool. So popular, maybe, right? There's popular novelists who've only written one book, like Catcher in the Rye, or I guess he wrote more than that, but before long, what was it? To Kill a Mockingbird was what's her, right? Though the quality of her work was far consistent. All right, so we've got some other things on the other side. So, you know, she's not that great on this side. She's kind of frowny face over here. Sorry, she's sort of frowny face on this side of this thing. We're probably talking more positive on this side of the thing. All right. So popular novel. So notice, like, popular novelist describes what kind of novelist she was. What else describes her imagination is, well, never at a loss for ideas, and also maybe she wrote a heck of a lot. So in your own words, what is a simple word you came up with to fill in the blank here? Endless. I love this, man. All right. Vast, sweet, big. I love big, big. Wild imagination, right? Unending. All right. Unstoppable. These are great, man. All right, cool. And once you take the pressure off of yourself to come up with the perfect word, and if the first word you thought of was prodigious, bravo, great. But I love these simple words like big, wild, unstoppable. Those are great too. But prodigious, also great. All right, so she has a lot of, here's my favorite thing to fill in is a lot of, which is not even a word, but she has a lot of imagination. All right, so I'm ready now so we analyze our clues and we use that to fill in our own word. Step 3 is what? All right, process of elimination. All right, and step 4 is going to be what? I just want to get the steps on the page first. All right, we're going to confirm. Excellent. All right, so read the sentence. All right, so we did step 2, use clues to fill in. Now here we go. All right, cool. So what'd you put for A? Yes, no, maybe, question mark? Yeah, no question mark. All right, cool. I'll just put a question mark next to that. Prolific. Yeah, so that's a yes, maybe. Some people put in no here, so we'll go from there. Yes, maybe. All right. Exemplary. All right, so that's a yes, maybe. All right, cool. All right, fecund. All right, so question mark, maybe. Cool. All right, ingenious. So notice we're all over the place. We got yeses, we got nos, we got maybes here as well. And last, profligate. Yes, no, maybe, question mark. All right, so we got question mark, we got a no, we got a yes, and we got other question marks, and other question marks. Okay, cool. So we can be all over the place. All right. So you picked your 2 here, right? And often this is based on maybe I didn't quite know the words. Maybe here's now where we want to get into like process of elimination and picking some. All right. What is one to you that, what's one to you that is clearly out? Like, which one is clearly to you? No, absolutely not. Right. All right, so some of you is fecund, some of you is exemplary, some of you is A. Okay, cool. I like it. Very good. So that's coming up. So one's out, right? What's one for you that is a pretty sure bet? Yeah, B seems to be right now, yeah, prolific seems to be a pretty clear, because that matches what? How does that match our clue? All right. So prolific means you write a lot, I guess. I don't want to tell you the word. But I mean, if you have 40 titles, you're going to be prolific. And if you're never at a loss for new ideas, you're also going to be prolific. All right, cool. So notice this, if you know what prolific means, and I'm going to sort of assume we kind of do, which means you write a lot, or write a lot. That matches a lot of our clues. I can feel pretty confident about that. Now, here's the question about exemplary. Does exemplary match prolific? No. All right. Which means one of those two has to be wrong. Yes, exemplary works. Yes, it works in this circumstance, but because they are not equivalents, because they don't match each other, you cannot pick both of those as an answer. If you're picking two answer choices that don't have anything to do with each other, because you can have an exemplary imagination and just come up with one thing that's really awesome, like To Kill a Mockingbird, right? Or prolific imagination where you write like 40 different books, like Terry Pratchett or something like that. But those two things don't have anything to do with each other, so one of these has to be wrong. That is what is frustrating about sense equivalence, but I can use that rule to help me rule out one of these answers. Between prolific and exemplary, which one would you more want to cross off? All right, so some B, some C. All right, cool. So what I can start doing here then, and this is a more advanced move here, and I don't want to waste a lot of time on this one, but another thing I can do is I can start matching answer choices up with each other. All right. And this may be better a little bit later. Let me do this. And as part of confirming here, so B I'm pretty cool with. One more answer that might match prolific. So we're okay with prolific. We like prolific. Give me another one. That's not C. All right. So once again, does ingenious, being super clever, does that match prolific? No. So that can't be it either. So once you're confident with an answer, that confirmation of like these have to match each other, we got to get rid of some of these answers like exemplary and ingenious, exemplary and ingenious. This is really frustrating, but really helpful with practice. That's what I'm here to teach you today. It's like this is super fun, frustrating in a fun way to me, but also really like I love getting frustrated with this stuff. But on test day, I'm like, oh shoot, did these match each other? Oh no, okay, I screwed up somehow. Okay. So let's go look up some words here. So again, kind of relatively where you are in the alphabet, I'll sort of randomly assign. So Alex Suhaili, why don't you give me prolix? I'll say prolific, we've got already. Jamie's and J's, K's and M's, give me exemplary. Michelle, Nandi, Sabrina, give me fecund. Maybe S's, how about Sabrina and V's and Stephanie's and Teresa's, give me profligate for me. All right, prolix is wordy and involves and too many words, right? Okay, so that's too many words. Okay, that's great. Exemplary, serving it as an example. All right, profligate, like recklessly extravagant, so kind of have a tendency to be. Does fecund mean? Did we get fecund? Oh, producing or capable of producing an abundance of offspring or new growth. All right, so fecund, I think about fertile and lots of new stuff. All right. Okay. So which one really matches? Oh, and let's go quick. Give me a prolific. Because it means you write a lot, but also just generally. And I love, by the way, the advent. I used to make my students, I'm teaching longer than the internet, before online dictionaries, and everyone had to go through actual physical dictionaries to do this. Man, it's so much faster. Cool. All right. Now, what's problematic with prolix? Why don't we like prolix? I'm going to say prolix is not the answer here. Why not? Yeah, you're using words, but what about the connotation of it? Yeah, all right. So we need a positive word. It's got a negative spin, so we can get rid of that. They're kind of close, but they're not equivalent to each other here. So what's our best one? Which one really kind of does match our, all right, so B and D. All right. What's really interesting about this one, by the way, is what is really, really interesting about this one is note how prolix doesn't have any match at all. All right. Doesn't have any match at all. There's no match to it. Notice how exemplary has no match to it. Notice how ingenious has no match to it, being clever or super smart. There's nothing that really matches that, and recklessly extravagant doesn't have a match. This is one of these rare ones where the only answer choice pair that actually somewhat matches to each other, sort of metaphorically speaking, are B and D. Now, are they straight up synonyms, would you say? Now, okay, so a lot of these do work somewhat metaphorically. If you have a fertile imagination, what's going to happen, metaphorically speaking? Because Anthony, you seemed a little questioning of that one, right? So fertile imagination or fecund imagination, yeah, you're going to grow lots of ideas, like little things. All right, cool. So what are some words you want to make flashcards out of? Fecund is one, all of them, profligate. So jot these down for yourself. Prolix, right? And there's some things that fecund is certainly one. It's okay to get, we're all adults here. What does fecund remind you of? Ooh, French word, means, cool. What is the fecal? Yeah, all right, cool. All right, so this actually is somewhat having to do with the Latin root, right? You know, we got a little gross, and that makes your mnemonic way easier to remember. Just to let you know, if you get a little gross or obscene, no one needs to know inside your head. If notice what Dave said, you know, like fecal matter, gross, sorry, but wow, you can imagine fertile things growing out of that. Okay, all right, gross, but fine, I'm never going to forget it. So, make your mnemonic devices right away. Other thing here, like prolix here, licks or lex, this has to do with words, so too many words, or a pro, what else does licks remind you of, L-I-X? Genuinely, like if I saw prolix or prolix, what else? Oh, a cat licking. All right, cool. So picture, right? Yeah, a cat licking you. So this word reminds you of a cat licking you. That's great. What does the cat have to be doing in your imagination? yeah, licking words or talking a hell of a lot, or right, the cat's just prattling on and on and on and on and talking, or telling you to stop using so many words, whatever it happens to be, whatever movie makes sense to you in your head, create that little movie, and you've got 2 new words. We've got fecund, fertile, and then we've got prolix in here. So yeah, cool. Profligate. I just associate this with prodigal. But I also have a big old frigate bird who's spending a lot of money in my head. So it's a pro-frigate bird, the big old sort of seagull type thing, and it's spending a lot of money. All right. Yeah, goofball, completely screwball images, and if they're obscene or rude or mean or intensely personal to somebody else, that is way better. Like if they're kind of rude to your friends or your family, brilliant. I like that, Megan, a pro spender. Or you can associate this with people you know. You can go backwards here. You can say, you can just say, all right, who is known for being profligate? Like, I just remember MTV Cribs, like just take a pop star of a boy band showing you around MTV Cribs of their 17 cars when their career is about to end. Maybe do something to associate that with the word profligate. So anything you can do to make a mnemonic device out of it, you have created a thing. So I do want to focus for a little bit on some answers here. So let's do here, right? One of the things I want to do is let's start playing around with just the answers and find some pairs. Sometimes there's 1 pair, sometimes there's 2 pairs, sometimes there's 3 pairs of answer choices here, and I want to start playing around. Do you see any very obvious paired answers? Yeah, all right. So eliminate and delete are a pair of answers. And then also, by the way, if you know your medicine as well, triage and prioritize here. Respond requite. Let's take respond requite also, and we'll say sure, why not, to respond and requite. Like unrequited love is unresponded love, so love that's not returned. So by the way, if we randomly guessed at this point, what percent right would what percent chance would we have of getting this right? Now that we got a 33% chance of getting it right. We're either picking delete and eliminate, or we're picking triage and prioritize, or we're picking respond and requite. Now, I normally don't do this until the confirmation stage, but this is kind of an intriguing one for going, oh, cool, I can match up some pairs here, and now I can use clues and go back and figure out which one most accurately matches this clue. All right, so let's go back to the beginning. I'm going to cover these answers up and see. Given the influx of information via social media. All right, so picture yourself using your phone and it's just bombarding you with information. The only way a person can function effectively is to blank, to metaphorically separate the wheat from the chaff. Okay, so this is kind of, so where is our clue as to what we need to do here? Yeah, all right, separate the wheat from the chaff. All right, cool. So what does that mean? Anyway, if you're separating the wheat from the chaff, you could probably figure that out. If you actually had to do that, like you pick all sorts of wheat, what do you think you're doing? Yeah, well, I'm separating, like, what part, if you harvest a bunch of wheat, what do you want? You cut down a bunch of wheat. You want what part? You want the wheat part, right? What do you think chaff means? You can guess. The stem, the stalk, yeah, everything else. Okay, cool. So, in metaphorically speaking, when you have an influx of social media, what are you doing when you separate the wheat from the chaff? Ooh, you're categorizing. You're turning on filters. Okay, cool. In your brain, you're deciding what to take away And what else? You're being more selective, but you're skimming and deciding what? You're picking what you want to see. All right. So we are picking what we want to see and eliminating the stuff we don't want to see. Which pair is kind of best for that? Yeah, all right, so BC, triage and prioritize. Notice delete and eliminate kind of works, but we would have a slightly different clue there. And I like playing around sometimes with, like, if the, what would you do? How would the clue change if we wanted A and F as an answer? So yes, triage and prioritize. Yes, absolutely. I pick those two. But like if we wanted, yeah, we use a harsher term than separate, right? We would say something like, to metaphorically flush it down the toilet, to metaphorically, all right, to metaphorically turn off the phone, to metaphorically hide in a cave, to become a hermit, whatever it is. So something in here about like getting rid of the damn phone, that would be deleting and eliminating. Triaging and prioritizing is a little bit more. And what's really hard here, by the way, is often if you stop here, often by the time you get here, you've already made up your mind as to what the word should be, and I want you to watch out for that habit. Given the influx of information in social media, the only way you can function effectively is by the time I got here, to be honest, given the information via social media, the only way you can function effectively is throw your damn phone away, is what I was thinking. Therefore, I'm really likely to pick delete and eliminate. That's what I'm thinking. But I get this clue, and I'm like, oh, I have to triage and prioritize according to this. Does that make sense about how we can make up our mind before we get to the end there? Yeah, and it's a really hard habit, and it's a really very likely thing for you to do. This is why I'm like, read the effing sentence. Like, read the full sentence. Don't stop till you get to this period, and then make up your mind what to fill in. And it's hard. Once you, like, my brain is a pit bull. Once I get the wrong idea in here, it's really hard to shake myself out of it. So, all right, cool. So what you can do sometimes is, just to give you an exercise, is sometimes you can play around and just start matching things up. Now, so what I might want to do, and this is an exercise, this is not how to answer these. The exercise is, and actually let's do this in, we got enough people here. So let's go Alex through Haley. We'll go A through H here. I'm going to go J through M's here, and N through V here. If that's the first name, letter of your name. This is a set of 6 answer choices. Which ones match up in your brain? This is a set of 6 answer choices. Which ones match up? And this is a set of 6 answer choices. Which ones match up? So that's your game. Try to pair some answers. And yes, I highly encourage cheating. In other words, go look up words. All right, so doff your hat and remove your hat. Those two things definitely match here. All right, what else we got? We got squalid and foul. I'm going to keep playing with squalid apartment, foul apartment. Reminds me of my 20s. Tenuous and precarious. Yeah, tenuous situation and a precarious situation. That's a pair here. All right, and then germane and pertinent. That's a pair there. Cool, I like it. Skittish and restive. Nice. All right. Mitigate and palliate. So mitigate and palliate there. cool. Don't condone and brook. That's another pair as well. I like that. So those are there. And then also just to play around, if I'm right, unseemly behavior and boorish behavior, and then also circumscribed and delimited. So notice what's happened sometimes is once in a while we've run into some of these where, frankly, flagging and innervated were the only two things that match, and nothing else really had a match. Hail doesn't match, notice how hail doesn't match anything else here, listen doesn't match anything, loathsome doesn't match anything. Oh wait, hail and vigorous match. So we have two matches on this one, but none other. On this one we only had one match. On a lot of these back here, we had 3 pairs. There's no way of predicting how many pairs there are. But if I take some time and figure out what does match each other, to doff your hat, to remove your hat, to mitigate and palliate, to make things better, condone behavior, brook behavior, squalid and foul, germane and pertinent. So all of these, if I can start pairing these up, really increase my odds of getting the right answer. If you randomly guess, what is the probability? Getting one of the right ones is 1 out of 6. Getting another right one is 1 out of 5. But there's 2 ways of doing that. That would be 1 out of 15 shot of getting it right if you randomly guess. Now we're making it a 1 out of 3. That's better. So don't randomly guess. Match things up before you do. Okay. So just to review where we want to go and what we want to do on our own, and then we can wrap up for the day. Follow the steps. A, B, C, D, E, F. All right, so follow the steps. Run through real quick. What are step 1, 2, 3, and 4? If somebody's already put step 1 up, type step 1, but if already somebody's done it, move on to step 2. All right, read the full sentence, process of elimination. How are we filling in the, yeah, all right, so we're gonna clue and fill in. So we're gonna get that clue and we're gonna fill in the blank. And then last but not least, confirm against the clue and what else? You're gonna confirm the clue and the other answers, all right, cool. Okay. So confirm, why did I write connect? Because I'm thinking and writing at the same time. Confirm. Okay. So read the full sentence, use a clue to fill in, process elimination, confirm. And then after you're done, how do we make sure we squeeze the most out of this as possible? Pair them up. Also, in order to do that, so this is after, this is part of your study process. Maybe before I pair, we got to look up the words, all right? Look up the words, pair up the words, as well as make mnemonic devices, make your flashcards, and look up your answer, look up your definitions, look at the words. So one of the things I would also give you as a recommendation here is whatever you do out of the 5-pound book or out of the official guide, whatever you do, 5-pound book, official guide, etc., what I would recommend is don't write in this, really. All right. Yep. Yeah, always the even pairs. Oh, Alex, sometimes there's 1 pair, sometimes there's 2 pairs, sometimes there's 3 pairs. I don't know what's going to be. All right. All right, so sometimes there's 1 pair, sometimes there's 2 pairs, sometimes there's 3 pairs, but there will always be at least 1 pair because the answer has to pair up. Does that answer your question now? All right, we've seen some where there was only 1 pair. We saw some where there were 3. Why don't we want to write in it? There's 2 reasons. All right, so we're not going to write in the book because you can't write on the computer screen. That's primarily number 1. So we want to pretend the book is a computer screen, And always work on scratch paper because you're going to have to on test day. And we really want to start making a synaptic connection between these 6 answers and what's a foot away from them, right? So the more you practice A, B, C, D, and F, the more somehow your brain starts linking A with A, C with C, E with E. Does that make sense? Alrighty, so that's primarily why we don't touch it. All right. The other reason why we don't touch it is if I get it wrong or I want to circle back to it, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little Post-it note here and write number 5. And the only thing I would do is maybe put a box around or circle the question I intended to do again. Right, so if I look at my OG, let me see if I can flag out one of my OGs for you. All right, if you want to look at my OG, and I'll just explain what happens, is that, sorry, let me come back on this thing. What I've never done is written in this official guide, but notice it's full of Post-it notes. What I've done is I've marked the questions I intended to do again, because I did a lot of hard work on this question initially. Well, I need to set up spaced repetition so I can do this question again. So I have page 310, question number 4, and I just know that this question is blank. Nobody wrote on it, so I can do this question again maybe once a week until test day. And this, for me, is my, oh my God, you'd better do these questions in the last week before the GRE, because these are the ones you keep getting wrong. So 2 reasons not to write in it. One is so that I can get the practice of working off the computer screen, and the other one is so I can circle back to it and I don't have the right answer written. So that's, and I've set that up for what we call spaced repetition, so I can do the same question again. Do the questions actually appear on the GRE? No, but the words do. So you will not see these questions ever again. But you will see a lot of repeated vocabulary, which is why we take the time to do it. So that's it. Yeah. So just a word of whatever about the Manhattan Prep GRE guide, the 5-pound book. The thing about the 5-pound book, folks, is the vocab here can be pretty tough, and there's a reason for that, is we want to prepare you for the worst of the worst in the vocab. So don't be disheartened if you see a whole lot of vocab in here you don't know. Try to learn as much of it as you can. Do your vocab work, that's always important. But at the same time, don't be disheartened by how difficult the vocab is here. Our vocab has a tendency to be a little harder than the main event, just to warn you on that. But anyway, I got to wrap it up, so here we go. Check out our upcoming courses, manhattanprep.com/GRE/classes, if you would be interested in something that I might be picking up a little bit in the future. When's one I've got coming up? I don't have it in the book. Anyway, keep an eye out for me, keep an eye out for other instructors. It would be really, you can always take a free trial class, which is the first class of our course for free. So by all means, sign up for that, because it's, A, you'll learn a lot of cool stuff, and B, it gets you a sense of what our courses are all about. So otherwise, have a great day. If you want more, keep an eye out for future free Prep Mondays, and have a wonderful afternoon or evening or whatever time it happens to be in your neck of the woods. All right, take care, folks. Bye.